Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. Today we're going to be going over something pretty interesting. So I want to go over Vex. Now we know Vex should be coming out pretty much the next PvE cycle. Well, I found this post that was sent to me actually on Twitter. People have been spamming me with this actually. That someone made a champion concept of Vex long ago. And like literally long ago, champion idea of Vex the Cursed. I mean, literally the same name, right? There's no way the new champion coming out named Vex just happens to be coincidentally named as this champion, right, of all the names to ever use ever. Now, it's very common, actually, believe it or not, for Riot to use really old champion concepts, like fan-made ones, and create a new champion off of that, like the idea, and take it and, you know, make it into something a little bit different, but the kind of core idea and the core principle is very similar. So we're going to be taking a look over this person's champion idea for Vex, because this could be a very nice kind of like mini leak, if you will, for how Vex's kit might actually look like and play out similarly when she does finally release. And there's a few other posts I want to go over, just kind of giving us more info about Vex as to what to expect. So if you guys enjoy, please don't forget to hit that like button. But let's get this video is going to be sponsored by Blitz. Blitz is a great League of Legends desktop app that gives you a bunch of information that you need to know, such as your current stats as well. You can look at their overall statistics as to what champions are great in what role, what pros are currently playing. You can look everything up, the tier list as to the best champion in every single role. And there's a bunch of overlays which I'll get into in-game as well. And it works in Champ Select. Check it out. You can pretty much do most of the Champ Select off the app. And it gives you really cool information based on what team is picking what. It gives you information about all dies in lane. Shows you all these really cool stats in the game as you kind of go through Champ Select. And as if that wasn't enough, guys, they also have a bunch of really cool in-game features as well. So number one, for instance, you have the little CS tracker up here, which just obviously updates as you play the game, so you know how you're CSing. You can change this to compare yourself to a pro player, a certain rank, like in this case Diamond. It also has jungle timers. You can see Baron, right? Baron Dragon, and I just killed Red Buff. You know, it shows a timer as to when they're responding. It'll also let you know what ability you should be leveling up at every single level, so you know if you're new to a champion or something like that, it'll tell you exactly what to do. And as if that's not enough, guys, if you actually open the app itself and you go right here into the in-game section, it'll tell you exactly, based on the champion you are currently playing, your items that you want to get, the build order, the skill order. It'll also show you the enemy team once you're actually in the game, and it'll tell you tips and tricks for the champion you're facing. It's crazy. So make sure you check it out, guys. It's literally free, which is even the best part, probably, right? Completely free to use. Check it out down below. Ladies and gentlemen, great app. So, Vex, champion idea. Vex the Cursed, or the Cursed, however you want to say it. So, it's a female human melee fighter. So, this is already the part that's different. It's both, they're both going to be female. But this guy's kind of concept initially was a melee fighter. Now, obviously, the new champion Vex will be a mage, a more traditional mage, apparently, according to Riot Games, right? So this is going to be the first main difference, but it'll still give us a very decent idea as to what to expect. So let's go over the changes, or the abilities, rather. Cursed Blade. So all basic attacks on champions increase attack damage and ability power by 2 per stack, increasing by 1 every level up to a max of 19. Stacks 3 times and lasts 5 seconds. But if the duration is let to run out, it deals 10% of champions' max health. So the passive obviously will probably be different. Now the concept could be still pretty similar, like maybe instead of basic attacks, it's like if you land a spell, it'll have some kind of stacks or something like that, right? Which could be pretty cool, and then it does like that, percent damage as well. Then we have Cursed Strike for the Q. So strikes all enemies in range, dealing, base damage plus scaling off of AD, which in this case can scale off of AP, as magical damage potentially, and dealing full damage to the first champion hit and half damage to the rest of the champions. It deals half damage to minions with this kind of cooldown and mana. So again, could be a very similar just mage type spell. Could just be a simple AoE cast somewhere in front of her that deals this kind of damage as magical damage, also doing more to the first champion hit maybe, or something like that, or just sends a blast forward, right? Could be something similar to that as well. Now the W, Dark Rune, creates a darkened rune on the ground that remains there for 2 minutes or until walked over by enemy champions, dealing up to this much damage to surrounding enemies and snaring them for 2 seconds. Allies who run over the rune gain a small damage and speed increase for 3 seconds with this kind of cooldown. Now this actually I can see being one of the similar abilities for Vex, and the reason is actually, so this is essentially like an anti-CC type ability, almost like a little mini trap thing, if you will. Now if we quickly pause right there and go over what a Riot teased about Vex back in January in this video. Let's take a quick listen together.
So after we pass through the new skirmisher, the next champion after that is a gloomy new artillery mage who would prefer if we just didn't even...
So this part, by the way, they changed it. It's not going to be an artillery mage anymore. This is why Vex is taking a long time to release. She was supposed to be out before Akshan. but they delayed her because they're switching her from being an artillery mage to more traditional.
Bother her at all. I mean, I don't blame her. These days, there's so much skill shots and dashes and hyperactivity around Summoner's Rift. Either way, it's
Right, so he's talking about that, right? How she's like so gloomy and she's just so tired of everyone just constantly dashing around everywhere and things like that. So this is why something like this would make a lot of sense, where it's almost like a trap or something like that, where it snares people if anyone just walks into this massive circle, for instance, or something like that. It'll just snare them and it'll just stop them from being able to do anything or move. I'm expecting it to be something like this, but even more so. Maybe it just completely stuns you or something like that. I don't know, but we'll see. Moving along, E, Shadow Strike, passive. Increases movement speed by up to 10% when running towards a champion. Now this will probably change, but the active effect strikes a single champion or minion, dealing damage of course. After 5 seconds, the target blasts out shadow energies, dealing 1/4 of the damage done to the main target to every surrounding target near the main target. Now that's pretty cool, because I think she's going to be like a traditional burst mage, which this makes a lot of sense if you have this and just transform this slightly into being more of a spellcasting type ability, where you use it on someone almost like an old school Deathfire grasp with AoE aspects, if you will, and it just like the damage you deal, kind of like Zed's ult also, it explodes and deals a bunch of extra damage around. That actually sounds pretty cool. And this is like shadowy dark energy, which sounds really cool. And the ultimates are Fury of the Cursed. Increases AD and AP by up to 40 for 12 seconds. During that time, all basic attacks cleave the area, dealing half of the basic attacks damage to every minion or champion in the area. So again, this is more focused on the actual AD, like melee attacking. Could easily be transformed into a mage type thing where she becomes like powered up. Maybe she goes from being gloomy to just kind of super mad and angry for a few seconds, and then just gets all this power and then does all that kind of damage and empowers all her basic abilities, right? So again, this is going to be a champion concept made very long ago. And again, it's not uncommon whatsoever for Riot to take these really old champion concepts and just kind of transform them into a slightly more modern version. So this is going to be like, I guess, a mini leak, if you will. So keep that in mind. Again, when she actually comes out and once her abilities are released, I'll make a video on it and we'll go over it and see how close, I guess, it compares to what this looks like, right? So now let's go over a couple more things. Now, I did theorize that, again, Vex is coming out on the PBE server in 2 weeks, next PBE cycle, which is in just under 2 weeks. And I also believe she'll be teased and released with the new Pentakill, because they're severely teasing and playing around with Pentakill being released really soon. Obviously, on top of Pentakill being in its own self like really cool and hype you. Can't wait to listen to the music, obviously. But I don't know. It's just something a little sus about this. I've been following Riot for a long time, and they're going more aggressive on the marketing on this than I would expect, which tells me that this wouldn't be surprising if Vex will tie into this somehow and be released as part of the Pentakill system and, have her own Pentakill skin, which would make sense since she's like gloomy and stuff, right? So that's kind of what I'm theorizing over this, right? So don't be surprised, right? You have like the whole like thing where like choose your legend, right? You have, like Yorick, and then like, Sona, Olaf, Mordekaiser, Kael, Karthus. I would not be surprised to see Vex here, like at all. Now, a while ago, they did talk about Reeve over here. Reeve, by the way, is this guy that was talking, if you're not sure who Reeve is. Saying that, can you answer if the Yordle will come with the during the event with the Sentinels? He said, so she won't be released with the Sentinel event, but she will be part of the event. So that's the part that we already saw, right? That was most likely part of the whole thing on the client where you were able to talk to her. She was obviously there, blah, blah, blah. And then she's supposed to be released right after the event in this case, which is obviously coming up any second now. Or any day, I guess, more specifically. And this is the part where I talked about how she was transformed from being an artillery mage to now being more of a traditional mage, which you can see right here, which is why she's kind of delayed now. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Kind of wanted to give you a little update, give you like a mini leak on what to potentially expect actually for her abilities. Because again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's something along the lines of this right here. Just obviously slightly different, maybe more modernized for a mage as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed these kind of quick little fun update videos, which I think they're fun. I like making them. Let me know by hitting that like button. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next video, and also especially once we get more information about Vex. So until then, thanks for watching. Peace.